You're watching Friggin' Fabulous Video. This is the Booze News segment for Friggin' Fabulous Radio. I'm Nick, and we're at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn, and I'm here with Mike Cadoux from Peak Organic Brewing.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. So, okay, tell me a little bit about Peak Organic. You guys are from Maine. Tell me about yourselves.
I'll start at the beginning.
Okay. Good place to start.
I think, yeah, right? I think like a lot of craft beers, we started in a garage. My brother and I were brewing in my dad's garage, and we were just home brewers at the time. And after a while, we brewed many, many batches. Split up. I went to the West Coast, actually. He went to the New England area up by Maine, where we now brew at. And when, at the time, we were both brewing independently, and I was in college, and well, I'll say I wasn't brewing very well. And his were, far superior to mine. And so after that, he kept brewing and brewing and brewing, and he made me basically admit that he was better than me. And for a brother, that's not an easy thing.
Yeah, really. That's not the easiest thing at all.
No, it's not an easy thing to admit. And then about 7 years ago, we started brewing. We did our first, actually that was together, our first organic batch of beer, and thought we had something. And I guess incorporated once I got out of college and he got out of business school and such, and we incorporated and went for it about 4 years ago.
You say you did your first organic batch. Explain what organic means.
Well, the brewing process is the same.
Okay.
We're still making what you might call normal beer. All we're doing is using organic ingredients to make that beer. And the only difference in the actual brewing process is in order to clean the facility, we use organic cleaners. So other than that, it just means that the barley and the hops are grown organically. And you can't have organic yeast or water. For us, the important thing was mostly in the taste. When we brewed our first organic beer, we thought it was just crisper and cleaner. And I think it makes sense that those products have been cared for a little better, and that therefore they would taste better in the long run.
Let's talk about some of your beers. Let's get down to it. I'm drinking your IPA right now, which is delicious. And
I appreciate that.
I love. But let's basically go down the list. Let's name your whole catalog, as they say.
Well, we have 4 mainstay beers. I'm drinking the Nut Brown here. You have the IPA. And then we also have the Pale Ale and the Amber Ale. On top of that, now we have 3 seasonals as well. We have an Espresso Amber Ale, which is our winter season. We also, our Maple Oat Ale is made with all organic grade C Vermont maple syrup, which is like, I don't know if anyone has ever had Aunt Jemima's maple syrup, but if you look on the back of that stuff,
it's sugar, pretty much.
there is no maple in it.
Right,
it's
no
incredible. Yeah, I mean,
I invite
Vermont you to read
syrup,
the back
as they
of
call it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, you should read the back of your maple syrup canister. There's no maple in it. It's sugar liquid,
basically.
And so this is made with the real stuff and some organic Maine oats, which are mostly for mouthfeel. Right. And then our summer seasonal is our pomegranate wheat ale. And so this is our Espresso Amber Ale, which is now we got the espresso from a coffee company called Coffee by Design, who are a local local roaster, I should say. That's the right word. In Portland, Maine, which is where we brew. And they make all organic, fair trade espresso and coffee. And so those two ethoses are very important to us.
Sure.
And we frankly think they make a heck of a cup of coffee. And so we actually put it in our amber ale. It's kind of our double amber ale. It's about over 7%. But we put it there as a kind of a lower base for the coffee to really feed off of.
Right. It's a very interesting combination, an amber and espresso.
Yeah. And we did it mostly so that we could get a very distinct coffee flavor on the beer. And so when you smell it, I mean, that's like smelling a cup of coffee. It's a rich roasted espresso.
Big nose roasted espresso, yeah, for sure.
And what I find is the first sip is the heaviest on the espresso, actually. And so you're going to get a very deep espresso roast on the first sip. And on the second sip is when you start getting that amber undertone, and then it finishes with that espresso flavor.
Nice.
So here's to you, Nick.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. I know what you're talking about too. It hits you big with the espresso.
Yeah. And then the second sip, your palate's a little more used to it, and I get the amber flavor, and that the espresso ends up being more of a on the back of the palate, on the end of the taste profile.
Right. Very good. I'm going to take a third sip just to be sure.
That's fine by me.
Tell us about the future of Peak Organic. First of all, how big do you guys want to be? I mean, that seems like a strange question in a way, but are you happy with your success right now, and how much do you want to expand?
It is actually an interesting question. I think we want to be big.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like
Sam Adams big, or?
I mean, Sam Adams, I feel like in the craft beer world gets a lot of, gets kind of kicked around a little bit for not being a craft beer anymore.
I have a lot of respect for them, I have to say.
I have nothing but respect for them because they did so much for the craft beer world.
Sure.
And still, I think, make very good beers.
This is Nick, Friggin' Fabulous Radio, Booze News. And it's been a pleasure to have the guys from Peak Organic here. John is here as well. And you're not on camera, but we'll get you on camera. But but Mike Cadoux from Peak Organic, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.